I used to think love was about giving the benefit of the doubt. That trust meant assuming the best. But that's how they get you. That's how I let her get me. My name's Daniel. I'm 34. I've been married for 6 years. Well, was married. If I sound bitter, it's because I'm still bleeding from the knife wounds I didn't even know were there until I started pulling them out. One by one. And every single one had her fingerprints on it. Let me paint the picture. I met Lauren at a mutual friend's Halloween party. She was dressed as Catwoman, and I was a half-assed Wolverine. Cliché, I know, but we hit it off instantly. She was funny, confident, kind of intense. That intensity? At the time, I took it as passion. I now know it was control masked in charm. Fast forward 4 years later, we're married, living in a small but cozy house in Denver. I thought we were solid. Sure, she'd always had this weirdly hostile relationship with my friends, especially my best friend Marcus. She called him a walking red flag, when in reality, he was just someone who saw through her bullshit. I didn't see it back then. I called it jealousy. I thought, well, she just really loves me. Here's when the cracks started showing. A year into the marriage, she started getting busier at work. Corporate job, marketing agency, lots of travel, late nights. I was proud of her hustle, you know? I thought, I've got a powerhouse wife. She's grinding. But then she started becoming distant. The kisses became cheek taps. Her phone was always on Do Not Disturb. And every time I asked her if she was okay, she'd snap. Stop being so insecure, she said once. I'm working hard for us. Why are you making me feel guilty for it? That guilt? It stuck with me. For years. What I didn't know then was that this was rule number 1. Trust patterns, not promises. People can promise you anything. But patterns? They never lie. And her pattern was withdrawal, defensiveness, and gaslighting every time I got too close to the truth. But I didn't know that yet. I still believed in her. In us. I thought I was just overthinking things. Looking back now, I wasn't overthinking. I was underseeing. About 2.5 years into the marriage, Lauren started doing this thing with receipts. Literal receipts. I'd find random ones in the trash, stuff that didn't make sense. Fancy dinners on Tuesdays when she told me she worked late. Movie tickets for 2, but she hates going to the movies unless it's something Oscar-worthy. Lyft rides that ended at places she said she hadn't been in months. At first, I chalked it up to her taking clients out. Networking, she'd say. I'm trying to land a big account, babe. Don't overanalyze everything. One night, I confronted her about a Sephora charge. Not because of the makeup, hell, I liked when she dressed up. But because she'd told me she hadn't been shopping in weeks and was trying to save. She rolled her eyes and said, it was a gift for a coworker's birthday. Simple enough, right? But a week later, I saw the exact same lipstick shade in her purse, still unopened. I asked about it. She froze, just for a second, but then smiled and said, oh, I bought 2 by accident. Chill. I wanted to believe her. So I did. Again, that's the thing about lies. When you love someone, you want to believe them. You bend logic into a pretzel, trying to make their stories fit. But this was rule number 2 slapping me across the face. If they lie about dumb, tiny things, they'll lie about the big stuff too. And boy, the big stuff was coming. That lipstick? I later found out it was worn the night she took him to a rooftop bar. The same night, she told me her flight got delayed in Chicago. But we're not there yet. We're still in the part of the story where I was blind, loyal, and soft. God, I wish I could go back and shake that version of me. Our 4th anniversary should have been a red flag parade. Lauren told me she had a conference that fell exactly on the weekend of our anniversary. She swore she couldn't get out of it. It's career-making, she said. This is how I get promoted. Next year, we'll celebrate in Paris. Paris. That was our dream trip. One of those things we talked about in bed, wrapped up in each other, before life got complicated. I bought it. I told myself I was being supportive. That sacrifices had to be made. That her job was important too. But my gut? It was a wrecking ball in my chest. Still, I ignored it. I planned a quiet dinner for when she got back. I even cleaned the whole house, lit candles, cooked her favorite, creamy pesto gnocchi and garlic bread. She came home smelling like hotel soap, wine, and something expensive that wasn't hers. Her makeup was too fresh for someone who'd just spent 3 days networking and attending panels. Her heels had a scuff I hadn't seen before, and she tossed her suitcase into the corner like it was empty. She kissed me with this forced little smile and said, God, I missed you. Liar. I wanted to say it. I knew it. My gut knew it, but I didn't. Instead, I served her dinner like a goddamn butler and acted like everything was fine. Rule number 3. If your gut is screaming, listen. That's your instincts. That's thousands of years of evolution trying to save your ass. I buried mine under the blanket of denial, because admitting the truth meant destroying everything I thought I had. And I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. Not until I opened her laptop by accident the next morning looking for a charger. Not until I saw the open email thread. The one that started with, "That night was worth everything." I'll never forget it. I didn't mean to snoop. I was just looking for my damn charger. Lauren always used my laptop charger for her meetings because hers was frayed at the plug. I saw her laptop on the couch, figured I'd grab mine from the bag she brought back from the conference, and that's when I noticed it was still open. Out of the corner of my eye, an email tab was lit up like a warning light. Subject line, "Missing you already, red heart." I didn't even have to read it. My stomach dropped before I clicked. But I clicked anyway, and I read everything. His name was Shane. Apparently, they met at one of her client mixers in LA, the one I remember because she FaceTimed me that night from a hotel hallway, saying the music was too loud in the lounge. Yeah, she FaceTimed me while she was cheating on me. I scrolled through thread after thread. Dozens of messages, some flirty, some downright filthy. Pictures, hotel reservations. There was even a damn Google Doc titled Our Next Getaway, where they listed wineries they wanted to visit in Napa. They had plans. Plans that didn't include me. My hands were shaking. My mouth was dry. It was like a hot knife slid into the back of my throat and twisted. I wanted to scream. Instead, I closed the laptop. Quietly. Like a coward. Rule number 4. The truth leaks. It doesn't always explode. Sometimes it oozes in, drip by drip, until you're drowning in it. Sometimes you find it when you're just looking for a damn charger. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. I needed to be sure, even though my heart already knew. So I waited. I started watching, listening, tracking, and I started writing my own rules. After reading those emails, I went into full-blown detective mode. I stopped being Husband Daniel and became Undercover Daniel. Think Jason Bourne, but with a cracked heart and a shared mortgage. For 2 weeks, I kept my cool. Smiled at her. Kissed her. Slept next to her while I tracked her phone using an app she forgot was still installed from our trip to Mexico. It was for safety, I said. God, the irony. I started documenting everything. Texts, calls, dates, mileage on her car. I even checked her parking receipts when I could. It wasn't obsession, it was survival. It was confirmation that I wasn't losing my mind. But you know what I realized in those 2 weeks? I already knew. The emails, the receipts, her changing behavior, the gut feeling, the instinct, that sick knot in my stomach every time she said, "I love you," and it felt like nails on a chalkboard. Rule number 5. If you feel like you need a PowerPoint presentation of evidence to justify leaving someone, you've already got your answer. The need for evidence means trust is already dead. I just wasn't ready to pull the trigger. Why? Because love makes you stupid. Comfort makes you scared. And hope? Hope is the cruelest drug of all. And still, I kept watching. I even followed her one night. She told me she was going to spin class. Cute. She doesn't even own workout shoes. I followed her to a boutique hotel downtown. She wasn't there for cardio. Well, not the Peloton kind. She stayed for 3 hours. When she got home, her hair was wet and she carried a smoothie like a damn trophy. "Great class," she said, sipping. "You should try it sometime." And I just nodded. Because that was the night I decided, I'm done collecting evidence. I'm done being the one who's trying to prove betrayal. I'm going to make her feel it. That night, the one with the smoothie and the fake spin class, I didn't sleep. Not because I was in shock. I was done being shocked. I was just calculating. Timing. Deciding how much of my soul I was going to let this woman take before I ripped the script in half. I waited until the next evening. Calm. Patient. Cold. She was on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, probably looking at stupid reels of women telling each other to never settle. I sat across from her. Not beside her. Across. That was intentional. Who's Shane? The phone froze in her hand mid-scroll. Silence. Her face didn't twitch at first. She blinked. Blinked again. Then she laughed. What? I smiled. The guy you spent our anniversary with. You remember. Rooftop bar. Room 918. French Rose. The guy who said, "That night was worth everything." That's Shane. Boom. The color drained from her face like someone unplugged her. She stammered, "Why were you? Why would you go through my—" "There it is," I cut in. Deflection, not denial. And that was the moment I saw it click for her. She lost the upper hand. Rule number 6. Confrontation is not about begging for the truth. It's about showing them that the lie no longer holds power. She tried crying, tried saying she felt ignored and unseen, that she didn't even know why she did it, that she needed to feel wanted. I told her I hoped Shane made her feel very, very wanted. Then I got up, packed a bag, left her there on the couch with her crocodile tears and her untouched smoothie. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even slam the door, because nothing cuts deeper than calm. She texted me 12 times that night, called me 6. I didn't answer, because I wasn't there for closure anymore. I had control. I didn't ghost her. I just gave her silence. And silence, my friends, is the loudest damn noise in a manipulator's life. By day 2, Lauren was calling like we were in a hostage situation. By day 4, she was sending voice notes. The kind where you can hear the fake sniffle breath in between every word. "Please just talk to me. I made a mistake. One mistake. I still love you. Can we fix this?" One mistake? She had recurring hotel reservations under her maiden name. That's not a mistake. That's a system. I stayed at my buddy Nate's place while I sorted out where I was going to live. He was the first person I told everything to, and man, his face when I dropped the full story. "You're telling me she cheated with Shane, her client?" I nodded. "The same Shane she called emotionally unstable like 4 months ago?" "Yup." He nearly spat out his beer. "Bro, she's not even good at lying." "Exactly." So, I did what any man with half a broken heart and a full spine would do. I went back to the house to grab the rest of my stuff. She wasn't supposed to be home. Spoiler, she was. Standing in the kitchen, hair done, wearing the old hoodie of mine she knew I liked. I didn't say anything. Just walked past her and started packing. That's when she dropped the bomb. "I'm pregnant." Dead stop. I turned around. "You're what?" She sniffled. "I found out 2 days ago." I wasn't going to say anything, but I thought you should know. I stared at her, trying to find any trace of sincerity in her eyes. I didn't see it. What I did see, though, when I walked into the bedroom to grab a charger from her nightstand, was a crumpled, used pregnancy test box in the trash. Expired since 2022. Rule number 7. When they realize they're losing, they'll weaponize desperation. Lies become lifelines. Pregnancy, illness, threats, tears. Don't fall for it. If they were honest, you wouldn't be here. I held up the box and tossed it onto the bed. "You forgot to bury the evidence this time." Then I walked out again. No goodbye. No emotion. She screamed my name behind me like a banshee. But I didn't flinch. I was done being her toy. After the fake pregnancy stunt, I blocked her. Phone, email, socials. Gone. I told Nate, if she shows up at your place, don't let her in. If she shows up at my work, I swear to God, and he cut me off with a laugh. "Dude, if she shows up here, I'm calling an exorcist." I laughed too. First time in weeks. But then came the fallout. Her sister texted me. "She's not eating. Just talk to her. You owe her that." Her mom emailed me. "Relationships go through things. Be a man and fix it." Even my own damn cousin said, "Maybe you were too distant." Just saying, bro. I felt like I was on trial for leaving someone who cheated on me. And that's when rule number 8 hit me. You don't owe anyone a TED Talk about why you walked away from betrayal. People love to defend the guilty when the guilty wear a good mask. But I didn't owe explanations. Not to her. Not to her family. Not to anyone who saw only her tears and never her actions. I didn't write a Facebook status. I didn't post screenshots. I didn't smear her name. I just started building my exit strategy. Found a short-term sublet. Froze the joint account. Hired a lawyer to get my name off the house we never should have bought together. Sent her a single email with a bullet list of my boundaries and next steps. No emotion. No openings for manipulation. She replied, of course. A wall of text. I didn't read it. Deleted it. Empty trash. Because healing doesn't come from defending your pain. It comes from no longer needing to. I was starting to feel free again. The silence was healing me. I could actually hear myself think without her voice constantly twisting reality. I went on walks. Hit the gym again. Even started journaling, which I never thought I'd do, but it helped keep my brain from spiraling. And then, just when I thought we were finally done, she played her last card. It was a Thursday morning. I was getting coffee before work when I saw it. A letter taped to my windshield, written in Sharpie in all caps on a folded piece of printer paper. You never loved me. I hope you rot. But if you change your mind, I'm still here. There it was, rage and desperation in one paragraph. I opened the letter. Inside, a necklace I gave her on our second anniversary and a Polaroid of us from that same night. On the back, in red pen, she had written, "We were real once." I didn't even feel sad, just tired. Like when a toddler throws a tantrum, but you already said no, and you're not changing your mind. Rule number 9. When you finally walk away, they don't try to fix the relationship. They try to fix their control over you. This wasn't love. It wasn't even regret. It was a last-ditch ego flare, the kind you throw when the game ends and you realize you lost. I didn't respond. I crumpled the letter, dropped the necklace in the donation bin at the gas station, and tossed the Polaroid in the trash. And then, I blocked the new number she used to text, "I'm outside your apartment." She wasn't. She just wanted to see if I'd respond. I didn't. That was the last time I ever heard from Lauren. No grand goodbye. No closure. Just a slow, pitiful fade. When Lauren finally stopped trying, I expected to feel victorious. Instead, I just felt empty. You don't walk away from years of love, lies, and manipulation and suddenly feel like a champion. You feel like a house fire survivor. You're alive, but all your furniture is gone and the place still smells like smoke. I stopped talking about her. Stopped checking her socials. Stopped playing the what-if reel in my head. I got a therapist. 1 session turned into 10. 10 turned into a new mindset. I started unlearning all the crap I'd accepted as normal. She used to say, "You're too sensitive," whenever I caught her lying. My therapist said, "You had appropriate emotional reactions to betrayal." She used to say, "All couples go through stuff." He said, "What you went through wasn't stuff. It was chronic dishonesty." Rule number 10. You rebuild your identity in silence. But when you return, come back on fire. Let the world feel the version of you that survived the fire she set. So I did just that. I signed up for a Spartan race. Didn't win, but damn if it didn't feel good to finish. Got promoted at work. Turns out my performance skyrocketed once I wasn't wasting energy deciphering gaslighting. Started dating again. Slowly, cautiously, but honestly. And then something wild happened. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Shane. Yup, that's Shane. I was at a friend's art show. He was standing near the wine table, looking like a nervous deer. I almost walked away, but curiosity won. "You're Shane, right?" I asked. He blinked. "You're Lauren's ex." I nodded, and he looked down, exhaled, and said, "She told me you were abusive." I laughed. Not a chuckle, a deep, that so on-brand kind of laugh. Then I said, "Well, at least she's consistent." He apologized. Told me she ghosted him 2 months after I left. Told me he caught her texting another guy named Tyler while they were in bed. Classic Lauren. We clinked glasses and never spoke again. So, you'd think after all that mess, the cheating, the lies, the fake pregnancy drama, and the epic meltdown, that Lauren would be the villain in this story. And yeah, she was. But here's the kicker. I found out something that flipped the whole narrative on its head. About 3 months after I officially moved on and stopped looking back, I was cleaning out some old boxes in my new place and found an old flash drive labeled Lauren_secrets. Curiosity got the best of me because who isn't nosy? So I plugged it into my laptop. Inside was a folder full of screenshots, texts, emails, voice notes between Lauren and someone else. Someone who wasn't Shane or Tyler. Someone from her past. The messages showed she had been planning to leave me way before Shane even came into the picture. But here's the twist. This other person wasn't just a fling. It was her best friend. And the worst part? They were gaslighting her too, making her feel like she was trapped, like she had no way out but to lie and cheat to survive. It didn't excuse what Lauren did, but it explained the desperation, the wild lies, the sadness behind those bitchy outbursts. Rule number 11, bonus sometimes. The enemy isn't just the person who betrayed you. It's the toxic cycle they're trapped in. Understanding that doesn't mean forgiveness. It means you reclaim your peace. I felt a strange mix of pity and anger. Sadness that 2 people I trusted were tearing me. After uncovering that mess with Lauren and her best friend, I realized healing wasn't just about cutting ties. It was about learning to trust myself again. For months, I stayed single. Not because I swore off love, but because I needed to understand what love should feel like, without the lies, the manipulation, the emotional roller coaster. I started small. Coffee with friends, casual chats, no expectations. Then, I met Emma. She was nothing like Lauren, steady, honest, and refreshingly boring in the best way. When I told her about my past, she listened without judgment. No drama. No, you need to forgive her nonsense. Just empathy. Building trust with Emma wasn't instant. It was slow. Sometimes I'd panic over tiny things, like waiting too long for a text reply or misreading a tone. But she never pressured me. She let me set the pace. Rule number 12. Trust after betrayal is like learning to walk again. You'll stumble, fall, and sometimes crawl before you run. But every step forward counts. What surprised me most? I was ready for love again. Not desperate, not needy, just hopeful. And that made all the difference. So, after finally finding some peace with Emma and starting to trust again, I had to learn something really important. Boundaries aren't just rules you set for others, they're promises you make to yourself. Early on, I slipped. I'd let little things slide, check her phone, just this once, because of old paranoia, answer text at midnight even though I was exhausted, or not speak up when I felt uncomfortable about something. And every time, it chipped away at my progress. One day, after a minor argument about me being too sensitive again, yes, déjà vu, Emma calmly told me. If you don't protect your boundaries, no one else will. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Rule number 13. Boundaries are not punishments. They're the fence around your sanity. I started being brutally honest about what I needed, time alone, no surprise visits, clear communication. It wasn't easy at first. I felt selfish, like I was pushing people away. But here's the thing. Real people respect your limits. If they don't, they're not your people. And after Lauren, that lesson was worth its weight in gold. You won't believe this, but about 8 months after the breakup, I ran into Lauren. No, it wasn't some dramatic confrontation. It was at the grocery store, just me, pushing a cart, trying to pick out healthy stuff, which, spoiler, I failed. She was standing by the frozen pizzas, looking exactly the same but somehow smaller, like life had sucked the fight out of her. For a second, we just stared. I could see the usual lies starting behind her eyes, but I kept my mouth shut. No accusations. No questions. Just a nod and a quiet, hey. She smiled, bitter, tired. Said, you look different. I nodded back. Yeah, I am. And then I did something I never thought I could do. I wished her well. It felt like releasing a heavy weight I'd been carrying around my neck for years. That encounter didn't fix everything, but it closed a door I didn't even know was still open. So here we are, the end of this messy, exhausting, heartbreaking journey. What started as a story about a bitchy, lying wife who shattered my world turned into something I never expected, a roadmap to becoming unstoppable. Here are the 10 rules I lived by, and sometimes painfully learned. Trust your gut. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Never tolerate lies. Honesty is non-negotiable. Don't lose yourself trying to fix them. People don't change unless they want to. Protect your emotional boundaries like your life depends on it. Because it does. Surround yourself with people who see your worth, not just your pain. Let go of guilt. You're not responsible for their choices. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll fall back. That's okay. Stop explaining your decisions. Your peace doesn't need a defense. When they try to manipulate, stand firm. You don't owe them control. Rebuild quietly. And when you're ready, come back on fire. And here's the kicker. You might lose the person you loved. You might lose the life you planned. But if you hold on to these rules, you'll never lose yourself. To anyone going through the hell of betrayal, it hurts. It's unfair. It feels endless. But you can get through it. You will get through it. And someday, you'll look back and realize the fire they started only forged a stronger you. Stay unstoppable.